Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am AdamMcKola. Hope you guys are all doing well. What a disastrous second half. Well, I say second half, final 10 minutes it was for Manchester United at Old Trafford yesterday. Not only did we squander a 2-goal lead in our Europa League quarter-final tie against Sevilla, but also we saw a huge injury to Lisandro Martinez towards the end of the game. We also saw Rafael Varane come off at half-time. And one thing about Man United is we know without Rafael Varane, without Lisandro Martinez, we are in deep doo-doo in the back line because those two guys have been absolutely immense for us this season. Lisandro Martinez particularly. I know Varane is just a great defender anyway. He's one of the greatest of all time and he'll go down as that. But Lisandro Martinez has been a breath of fresh air for United this season. He's been so good, so important to the way that we play. And just as we get Casemiro back, just as we get Eriksen and Martial back, we see injuries to Rashford. We see injury to Lisandro Martinez and we see an injury to Rafael Varane. And it's just been our luck this season. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if we had a fully fit team and Martial stayed fit and Varane and everyone stayed fit for the whole season, we would have went and won the league. But even though it's a little bit of a joke and it's a little bit lighthearted, we would have been doing a whole lot better. And look, every team has injuries and every team has issues throughout the season. But United's have been a massive issue for us this season. And not having a proper number 9 throughout the campaign hasn't helped us. Wout Weghorst just simply isn't good enough for Manchester United and the standard that we want to be at. And he started like 20 games in a row. If we could have started Anthony Martial in at least just 10 of them, United's position in the league would have been a little bit more secure. But we haven't been able to, and being fit is a big part of the game. And hopefully Anthony Martial can stay fit. And hopefully those injuries to Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez aren't too bad because, calling upon the likes of Harry Maguire, potentially Luke Shaw at left centre-back, Victor Lindelof, Phil Jones, if we have to. We've been there and we've been there before with those defenders and they're not good enough for Man United as our main centre-back partnership. You know what I mean? Harry Maguire, for me, needs to go in the summer. All right, he played all right in the last game and I'm not going to blame him for the own goal. I think he was a little bit unlucky, but, he's not good enough for Man United. I've seen enough to know that already and nothing's going to change my mind about that one. And we have to probably rely on him now until the end of the season because whilst we don't know what happened with Martinez's injury as of yet, Ten Hag's confirmed that as well. It's not the Achilles, which we feared. If you're looking at an Achilles injury, a mad Achilles injury could be 6, 7, 8 months on the sidelines. It's not an Achilles injury, which is positive. But the manager doesn't know what it is just yet. And no matter what, it looks like it's going to be at least, weeks rather than days out for Lisandro Martinez. So that's a problem for United. If Rafael Varane is missing for, let's say, a week, even for the next game against Forest, that's a problem. So we're going to need to shuffle things up at the back. And we're going to need to try and get through these next couple of weeks. It's great to have Casemiro back, Eriksen back. We get Bruno, obviously, playing. He's suspended for the next game in Seville. So that's going to be a problem as well. But it's good to have, the Bruno thing for a game isn't as bad as the Martinez thing. And I'd have taken a defeat yesterday just to keep Martinez fit. Because Martinez is so important to Manchester United and what we're doing. But when you look at that game yesterday, we only have ourselves to blame. In the first half, we were fantastic. We created so many opportunities. We should have scored more than the 2. Anthony Martial showing again how much of a difference he is to this team. Not only how much of a difference Anthony Martial is to this team, but how much of a difference, having a proper number 9 makes to this team. It is massive for United to have a proper number 9. And Martial is a special player. And we've seen the goal contribution, the assist contribution. It's a goal and an assist every 82 minutes that he's played. You look at the one that he sets up for Sabitzer, the second goal. He was involved in the first goal as well. So even when he's not scoring, he can contribute. And if he contributes like that, you don't mind when he's not scoring. And if you can get Martial and Rashford back together, we'll probably be fine for the rest of the campaign. But just as we get Martial back, Rashford's injured. And that's a problem. Again, we're talking about injuries. And it shows you where our squad is. You're missing Casemiro. You're missing Eriksen. You got problems in midfield because you're having to play Scott McTominay. You're missing Varane. You're missing Eriksen, Martinez. You got problems at centre back because you're having to play Maguire. So we need to improve our squad. That's clear, and that's why it's a problem that at the moment in time we don't know who our owners are going to be. We're seeing an extension to the third round of bidding to the end of April. The season ends at the end of May, beginning of June. You want to start looking towards who you're going to be signing around now, and getting prepared for those kind of things. And we can't do that because we don't know who our owners are going to be. Yet again, the Glazers are kind of scuppering our plans in the transfer market. But we do need to strengthen our squad. We have to strengthen our squad massively. But I'm confident we can go to Spain with the players that we have and beat them in Seville. I really am. But for me, the worry comes Brighton at Wembley. You hope the occasion gets to them like it did Newcastle. But Brighton at Wembley, with that backline, it's going to be a problem. They play good football. They can pull you out of shape, pull you out of position. And if we're going there with Maguire at centre-back and Lindelof or Maguire and I don't know who, it's just problems. It's problems. People can say that he had a decent performance, and I know the manager kind of has to come out and say that to keep positive about him, but it's not good enough. It'll never be good enough for a Man United centre-back, especially with the way that we want to play. And when we put him in a team, it's such a huge difference. Thankfully, we got Casemiro and Eriksen back because they make a huge difference to just sitting in front of that defence, and maybe they can help us get through it. Because if you're having no Casemiro, no Eriksen, and no Varane and Martinez, we're basically back to the horrible days of McFred, Maguire, and Lindelof, and nobody wants to be going back to them days, even if you have got Erik ten Hag in the dugout. So it's a huge issue, these injuries for Manchester United, but hopefully we can get through in the Europa League. I do worry about that FA Cup semi-final against Brighton. I got a bad feeling about that one. But the energy that these players need to get is from, yes, there's a lot of fixtures coming, but you can win 2 trophies. You can guarantee Champions League football at Old Trafford next season. And they need to go and do that. They need to go. There's no excuses, even with these injuries. There's no excuses at all. We should be able to go to Forest and beat them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hopeful the manager will have a plan up his sleeve for that Brighton and that Sevilla game, because it's a big week for us next week. And you're looking at the potential Thursday, Sunday of going out of both competitions, which you don't want to happen. If we can beat Forest, it kind of nips any talk in the bud of us potentially slipping in that top 4 race. Because people will be expecting us to maybe slip a little bit now that we got those injuries and we got those players being unavailable. But fingers crossed we don't. But yesterday, thought the first half shows you what a difference Martial makes to the team and all that. But in the second half, you have that reminder of what the team is without the likes of Lisandro Martinez, and hopefully we don't have to go back to that for too long. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on everything that has gone down. Make sure you're keeping it locked to AdamMcKola TV as well. I did film my reaction outside the ground yesterday, but for some reason the sound didn't record, so wasn't able to upload that. But we'll be back with daily content now, so keep it locked, and I'll see you soon.